Hello and welcome to Health Times TV. So today we are coming to you with an issue that is currently blazing, the issue of Ebola. There's an Ebola outbreak, by the way, that has been recorded in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in Ituri province, and Uganda. So according to the World Health Organization, the World Health Organization declared the ongoing Mbudimbugyo Ebola outbreak. So the Mbudimbugyo is a strain that is different from the Zaire strain. The end of that strain was announced in September of 2025. Now there's another strain, the Mbudimbugyo strain, which according to the World Health Organization Director General Dr. Tedros is spreading very fast, and according to statistics it has already killed an estimated more than 130 suspected deaths have been recorded, and 34 confirmed deaths related to this current Ebola outbreak. So now some of you might say maybe Zimbabwe is off the radar, or Zimbabwe is safe. That is not true. Viruses do not respect borders. Viruses do not need your permission to get to where you are right now, just because times have changed, technology has moved, and viruses move faster between continents and regions and countries more than they were doing before. So why should Zimbabwe be concerned about this outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo? So Zimbabwe may not have confirmed an Ebola outbreak or case as of yet, but the country sits within the Southern Africa's busiest regional trade and transport networks. Every single day, hundreds of long-distance trucks travel between Zimbabwe and the Democratic Republic of Congo through regional transport corridors. So data from Freight Global shows that an estimated 250 and 500 trucks move daily towards DRC at major entry points. The level of movement means disease can travel across borders before symptoms are even detected. So, how Ebola spreads and why it is dangerous. So experts warn that Ebola is not a disease countries can afford to underestimate. I see recently the United States actually issued a ban on travel for travelers from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda. Well, that's not how you respond to these diseases, because they don't know borders. So unlike airborne diseases, Ebola spreads through direct contact with infected bodily fluids or contaminated material. However, what makes Ebola especially dangerous is how quickly it can spread once an infected person enters communities or healthcare settings undetected. One missed case can infect family members, caregivers, border officials, or health workers. That is why early detection, isolation, and contact tracing are critical. So Zimbabwe's vulnerability and health system challenges. So, I hear people, we talk about how Zimbabwe survived COVID-19, how the grace of God protected us during the COVID-19. We even survived previous Ebola outbreaks. We have never reported an Ebola case in Zimbabwe. So we've been surviving all along, but that does not make us immune. So that false sense of immunity should be tossed through the window, because everybody right now is at risk. That's why you see that measures are already being put in place across the region. Even the WHO has declared this outbreak an emergency of international concern. So as Zimbabwe, the health authorities have already acknowledged that long-distance truck drivers, informal border trading, and regional travel routes increase the country's risk of importing Ebola cases from neighboring countries. Mind you, we are also neighbors with Zambia. So Zambia also somehow neighbors the Democratic Republic of Congo. So the fact that we have got our traders getting into Zambia on a daily basis puts us at risk of the Ebola outbreak. So we need to be worried. So Zimbabwe's health system, while it is experienced in handling outbreaks such as COVID, cholera, and likes, it still faces serious challenges. For example, recent public health reports pointed to shortages of healthcare workers in Zimbabwe right now, medicines, emergency response resources, and limited outbreak surge capabilities. That means that even a small Ebola outbreak, if it moves at the pace at which it's moving in the DRC, it can place significant pressure on Zimbabwe's health system. What makes this outbreak worse is the absence of a cure, a treatment, and a vaccine. So unlike the Zaire strain that was declared, whose end was declared last year, so the Zaire strain has two approved vaccines by the World Health Organization, but this current strain now, even though it was reported some years back in Uganda and the DRC, there is no specific vaccine to counter this current disease. So that makes it very, very difficult to manage. When they managed the Zaire strain, they had a vaccine that was in place that helped them, thwart the threat of this virus, which actually took them around four months. So what must Zimbabwe do now? The country must intensify border control, screening, strengthen rapid testing systems, improve isolation facilities, train frontline health workers, and increase public awareness before a case is detected. So right now, we have not recorded a case, but this gives us time to actually, even reactivate those COVID-19 isolation centers that we had, or those treatment centers that we had during the COVID-19. We need to activate them right now before we detect a case, because if we are to detect a case, and judging by the words of the World Health Organization Director General that this virus is moving at a faster pace than seen before, we do not need to be caught off guard like it did right now. It caught Africa off guard. It was reported, I think, in April, but because there was no contact tracing, and because the data it was difficult to get the data because the virus was reported in a conflict zone, the outbreak spread faster, and now no one even knows the index case of this outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We do not need that in Zimbabwe. We still have time to prepare our treatment centers. We still have time to prepare our isolation centers so that when the virus comes, we will not be caught flat-footed. So that's one of the things that we need to know. So like I said, this current virus is considered highly dangerous because there is no licensed vaccine specifically approved for it, and targeted treatment, there is no targeted treatment that is available. This means authorities in the healthcare sector are relying heavily on surveillance, supportive care, and rapid containment measures to stop transmission. I remember I attended a press briefing with Africa CDC Director General over the weekend. He said the only thing that they can do right now is to adhere to public health measures, right? Which means there's no immediate response on the ground. There is no treatment. There is no PPE that is enough. There is no vaccine, and this needs millions of dollars to combat this current outbreak. So my final message is that for Zimbabwe, this is not a time to panic, but it's definitely not the time to relax. The country's strongest defense right now is vigilance, preparedness, and public awareness before the virus is an opportunity to cross the border. We still have time, and we still have time to get it right. Until we meet next time, I'm Michael Barisa.